Hi, I'm Sheana Davis, the Epicurean Connection. Thank you for joining our cheese chat today. These cheese chats started in early May when COVID was setting in, and this was my way of creating community through cheese, is starting a cheese chat and inviting cheesemakers, cheesemongers, retailers to be part of a conversation that we can all tune in to listen to and keep connected, because all of us in the cheese world are used to getting together at American Cheese Society, Good Food Awards, Fancy Food Show, and now we're all quarantined on our own location around the country and taking good advantage of being safe. But this is a nice way to be in touch. So today we're honored to have a guest from Grey Barn Farms, Joe Alstat, who's a cheesemaker, and he has a beautiful collection of cheeses to share with you all today, and a great story on how he works on Martha's Vineyard and how he manages cheese making and dairy production. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Hello, once again, I'm Joseph Alstat. I'm the cheesemaker at the Grey Barn in Chilmark, Massachusetts, which we've already said is on the island of Martha's Vineyard. We're actually one of two cheesemakers on the island. The other one's really small and they primarily make yogurt. Today we're going to be going through our four original cheeses we've been making. We now make about 10 different varieties now, but Prufrock, our wash drying, it was our flagship cheese, the first cheese we started making. The one that we have in front of you today, I actually have two right here. We have a younger one, which was made right around October 10th, and then our older one was about a month older. And I just want to show that because as it sits, it gets oranger and oranger. And I know not necessarily on the camera, you can appreciate the difference of these two in color. But they're also, when we cut them open, I just want to show how they change. We have Eidolon, which is our bloomy rind, and it's a bit of a mess of a cheese when it gets old. Very oozy. It's a hybrid fermentation style of cheese. And then we have two different blue cheeses. We have Bluebird and Bluebird Reserve. And it's funny, they are two very different makes. It's not just that we hold on to one for a year and that's what makes it Bluebird Reserve. I make it so that it can age a year. The Grey Barn, we're a small family-owned farm on Martha's Vineyard. The Glasgows are the owners. They purchased the farm in 2009, and I got hired on in 2013 when we had an unfortunate series of mishaps where the creamery actually caught fire and we had to ship all of our cows up to Vermont. And then in 2013, we started anew. And that's when I got hired. And I worked as an assistant cheesemaker here for 3 years. And then 4 years ago, I took over as the creamery manager. I originally learned how to make cheese in Vermont, and I started when I was 19 years old in the Northeast Kingdom. I worked at a sheep dairy called Bonneview Farm. But what's really beautiful about the farm, Grey Barn, is we were like the original dairy farm on the island. It was in the late 1800s. The barn I'm actually in right now, which has been renovated, was the island milk hub. It had the big bulk tank, and everyone back then, had 1 or 2 cows and for your family, but 1 or 2 cows worth of milk for a family is quite a bit. So everyone would bring their milk to this one hub, and they had a big bulk tank. The farm went out of business as a dairy farm in the early 1960s, and then it was just kind of like a community run, not selling milk, but just like a bunch of people kind of a commune milking cows here. One of my friends told me. It then became a tax store, and the land kind of laid fallow up until the owners, Eric and Molly Glasgow, purchased the land, and they built quite a bit. They built a new milking barn, a creamery, all the farm infrastructure, because essentially everything we had was, over 100 years old and not really in good shape. The historical barn got rescued, and it now acts as our bakery, aging facility, and kind of event space, as long as it also has our meeting room in it. So we really try to give back to the community. With our new bakery that we started last year, we've donated over 1,000 loaves of bread, we can estimate, to our food pantry. We also Through our bread sales, we've donated over $2,000 to the Northeast Farmers of Color Land Trust, which is a preservation trust that tries to ensure land gets into agricultural use through minorities, because the big issue in this country is farmland's predominantly owned by white people, and we feel that we need to give everyone an opportunity, especially in New England. So we donate a lot of cheese to our food pantry as well. Usually around the holidays, I try to make like, a couple hundred Prufrock and we give them away. But our bread is usually there. And I also sell our seconds cheeses to the elementary school. And so they get to use nice artisan cheese on their grilled cheeses and all sorts of fancy macaroni and cheese. The lunch lady there is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, we've really expanded our line. We also have our original 4 in front of you, but this summer I was making 9 cheeses. We sold all out of them. Like, we were fortunate, I guess you could say, with COVID, that a lot of people came to the island, and we were the only food source up island. Well, it's not that many people population-wise. It's, you drive 10 miles to the grocery store. So it was a lot of people. We got a lot of business, people looking for our product. We haven't been able to keep meat stocked at our farm just because anytime we get some in, it sells. And even cheese, we're just down to bare minimum. And anytime I get some stuff ready, I'm able to sell it. So
congratulations. So for your cheeses, do you work with raw and pasteurized milks?
Yes. So the first 2 cheeses, Prufrock and Eidolon, are pasteurized, and that's just because they are high moisture cheeses, and we can't age them for 60 days and have them be shelf stable. Like, they'd only have like a shelf life of like 20 or 30 days at that point. And with us being on the island, distribution of cheese is our hardest thing. I'm fortunate that we're able to get one of our distributors to pick up here, and they take a pallet to Long Island City, and then it gets distributed from there. So out in California, where you are, World Best Cheese, it's quite a chain to get from Martha's Vineyard to California. We also do a series of raw milk cheeses. We have our 2 blues, which are raw milk. I make a cheese called Bonnet Versailles, which is essentially a giant Prufrock that's raw. It's about 5 pounds. Mm-hmm. We have Rip Wrap, which is like our hard cheese. And I just started making a cheddar that we're making both a pasteurized version, and we're also going to be making a raw milk version that ages much longer. And the reason why I want to do a pasteurized for the cheddar cheese is just so it can go to like the schools, and so everyone can eat it. Because like a lot of the times with our nice fancy cheeses, we have people with health issues, and they can't enjoy the super soft organic cheeses that we make. And I want to make a low risk cheese for our population of elderly people and all the other high risk individuals.
That's great. And so with all the different cheeses, it sounds like primarily you sell them off your farm estate or through World's Best Cheese. And if anybody can handle logistics, Sheana can. Stephanie can.
Yeah. Primarily, what's interesting is this year we completely shifted. We were selling, over half of our sales off island, and now it's the opposite. We're over half our sales are coming through our farm stand. But since since we're selling retail, we're selling less cheese. So it's interesting because that's why I've been able to diversify my product lineup. But yeah, I really love selling cheese wholesale. We're in all the Whole Foods in New England and the Northeast. Wegmans has us in all their Northeast stores. So we're in the New England area. Like, we're a little hard to get once you get outside like New York and a little farther south, but we're really thankful for our distributors like World's Best Cheese that carry us all the way out to California.
Right. And do you do mail orders?
We do. We just started. The issue with that is our shipping's just so high because, getting something off the island on a plane isn't cheap, and you have to ship cheese, next day, so it doesn't get too hot. And it's something we work on, but we offer it when we can. If you go onto our website, thegraybarnfarm.com, click the farm shop link, and you can get some cheese.
That's great. I mean, so why don't you walk us through the characteristics, the flavors of your 4 cheeses you have today?
Yeah.
Don't
So
mind.
Prufrocks are wash grind cheese, and honestly, the ones that we have right here today, they're my favorite. They're made on fall milk. You know, like late September, early October. We're lucky here that we still have pasture that late. So hopefully my camera can pick it up, but there's, you know, it's a nice like buttery color in there. You see a nice little gas forming. And I try to just have this cheese, like I don't wash it in anything special. It's salt water, bee linens, because I really want people to taste our milk because we have really fantastic milk. We're fortunate that in most good years, we produce a lot of our feed on the island. Unfortunately, this year we had a horrible drought and only able to get like 1 cut of hay, which is a little bit opposite of everyone else in the East Coast this year who had so much rain they didn't know what to do with. But Prufrock, yeah, it's just simple. We try to go, this is the older one. So as it breaks down, you know, I just like it. It's easy to spread. The younger one often has, let me skip this, a little bit of solid bit to it, and it's a bit tangier. So you can see, hopefully, let's show it up, but there's a little bit of a differentiation.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Where it's getting oozier. And I like it then because sometimes you can cook with it a little bit easier when it's younger. Just because if you take an older one and you try to even melt, it just completely turns to liquid as soon as it seems any type of heat. So yeah, Prufrock.
It's totally delicious, Joe.
Thank you. I like it when it's older. I like stinky, you know, I sometimes eat it when it's past its sell-by date because that's really just there so that the cheese isn't turning into a puddle in the store. No one's damaging it when they're picking it up.
So as a cheesemaker, you eat the cheese after it's gone to market.
Yeah, I like it stinky. So because it's a sell-by date, it's not a best buy, and it's more of like just physical reasons instead of how it tastes, you know. But yeah, this one I get there's a lot of butterfat in it.
You can taste the milk still. Nice. Still taste the milk and cream.
Yeah, that's what I really want is we have such a nice milk. Like I love drinking our raw milk that like, why do I want to cover up that simple, nice taste in our cheeses? And we always say like Prufrock is a good beginner's wash grind cheese. It can get stinkier as it gets older, but a lot of people are pleasantly surprised, especially if they eat around the rind, which I encourage people to always eat the rind. I think that's where all the characteristics are in it. And then Eidolon, so and we got a pretty old one. So this is a November 22nd.
I'm mimicking it.
Stamp date. So, you know, it's kind of a week before I'd say like it becomes a little bit too fragile to sell in the store. So I'm just cutting off the top because this is how I like to have the cheese at like a party. So you just keep it like that and you can see this beautiful inside of just like creaminess. And we have started selling these boards that fit it perfectly. So you can like put crackers around it. And then it keeps a little ooze tray for the Eidolon in case it breaks open. But Eidolon, it's interesting. Some of our clients like it when it's really young because it's kind of like a Chev almost. It's a hybrid lactic set. And then some people like it when it's absolutely soup. It always tends to keep a little bit of a solid core in the center. Mm-hmm. So even when it's broken down, there's still some of the like, you know, like cakey Chev-like consistency in the center of that cheese.
Nice texture.
Mm-hmm. And really easy to spread. We really like it with like, you know, like stone fruit jams, like peach or apricot jam. I think goes really well with that. And I always like it. I think it's a good thing to have like at the beginning of a party. You have some bubbly, you have this, the bubbles in the wine, the acid really cut through the fat, and it just really goes well together.
I think I'm gonna have this tonight with a persimmon jam.
Nice.
Persimmon brown sugar jam. I can see that as my dinner this evening. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, our favorite thing, our farm stand manager, she loves taking Eidolon and just smearing a boule with it, like just coating it, and it gets all the nooks and crannies of the bread, catch all the goopies. It's good.
Oh, it's delicious. I've not had it this right before, so thank you.
You're welcome. So next we have our Bluebird. So this is about 100-day aged blue cheese. So this one we try to make fudgy. We're not going for a crumbly blue here. A lot of restaurants really like this because they're able to like slice it for cheese boards so they can take it out on their cart and you just don't have a pile of crumbles when you try slicing into it. This one was made July 14th, so right in the middle of the summer. And usually I'd say, oh, it's made on pasture milk, but we didn't have pasture July 14th this year because we had no rain for, 60 days in the beginning of the year. So they were actually on hay, which I tend to like blue cheese when it's on hay because, all the fat turns into flavor in blue cheese. And I think the mouthfeel, it's interesting because it's like, I know in California, a lot of cheesemakers there, when the cows are in the barn, it's the middle of summer. And usually we're the opposite, being up in New England, but not this year. So just a little bit of change. And that's the thing is what I always find amazing is with us having such a small herd, we only have about 40 cows we milk at a time. So about 75 total. A lot of little fluctuations can change the cheese significantly.
Beautiful cheese. I'd love to taste one on grass and on hay next to one now. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it's and the thing is like we totally got flipped on our head just because of the weather this year. So, but I mean, as a cheesemaker, pasture's great. It gives you nice color, gives you nice flavor. But if you want yield and you like fat and like creamy, heavy cheeses, I like stored milk. Like stored feed, hay, dry feed.
Yeah,
I think gives a really nice quality to the cheeses. And as much as pasture's great, I'm kind of leaning towards like the fattier, more barnyardy cheeses flavors.
Well, who knows? Maybe next year you'll make a pasture and a hay.
Yeah. Well, it's usually that's the thing is there's a transition. So like in the summer we're selling all the cheese we made in the winter, like Bluebird.
Right.
So in the summer you're getting stored feed, and then come Christmas you're eating all the summer. But so what's interesting is this next blue is our Bluebird Reserve, and this one is like over a year old. It was made August 12th of 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, so it lived about 8 months in our cellars before it was wrapped. Just because I like this age as long as I can before like you essentially just get to the point like right before it starts cracking and falling apart. Because I want to make a much drier, crumblier. I mean, you can't really tell from this because cheese. There's a lot of crystals in this. And this one actually is made on pasture, even though it's kind of from the same time period, but we were on pasture last year at that time.
So there's a comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a beautiful flavor. And you can see the nice piercings in your wedge.
Yep. We were a little fork, and we put about 100 holes in each cheese.
Oh, that's great. That's a beautiful flavor. They're almost caramel, almost.
Yeah, it's like candy almost. Yeah, and it has a lot of lipase at the end. It's like now it's getting really old. This is actually one of the older wheels I've ever held on to. I've just kind of been experimenting, like how far can you push it? Like, and
That's worth.
Yeah.
I imagine you're selling all that off your farm because that's delicious.
Yeah, it's funny. We have a lot, but it sells so fast. It's absolutely crazy. And it's just getting a cheese that you age for a year. You have to make a lot of it and just hold on to it. So I always act like I have a ton of it because I look at my cellars and there's all this cheese just sitting there, but most of it in there is not going to be ready till next summer. So,
right. That's amazing. That's the flavor on that and the textures and next to one another is a beautiful comparison tasting.
Yeah, no, they're very different. It's interesting, same cultures, different make. We also make this one a bit bigger. So the Bluebird tends to be about an 8-pound wheel.
Okay.
Bluebird Reserve is closer to 11. And like a lot of people don't ever realize is like just as much as your cultures and every cultures, like the shape of the cheese, the physical format really determine what that's going to be and what you can do with it. Yeah.
I think you should do this comparison tasting for the American Cheese Society. I think the members would love that, Joe.
Yeah.
That'd be a great tasting education for the guests to learn about, grass-fed versus hay fed and the aging of the 1 year to the less than 1 year, I think your guests would love that.
Mm-hmm.
Or even for your own cheese club on your farm.
Yeah. I mean, we do. I mean, this year is a little bit different, but we still did private tastings all summer, and next year we're actually doing a pretty big redesign of our whole farm stand area, and we're actually going to have more of a cheese tasting kind of area, and really focus more on that because we've been blown away by all of our clients here, like how we can't give them enough cheese, and having more cheese doesn't mean they're just buying one piece. It's like if they have another cheese option, they're buying 2 pieces. So I just always want to give people something new to try. I have one label called mixtape, and it's the only stuff you can get on the farm, but it's all of my experimental products. I've been experimenting. I'm going to start producing probably in February. It's going to be like Eidolon, but it's going to be in the large format, so it's going to be raw. And then we're going to try to get a blue line right in the middle of it. So it's going to be a big, short little square that has a blue line of going, but it's going to be a bloomy rind that's aged 60 days raw.
Oh, yes, please. That sounds delicious. I just took a class online this morning on the Academy of Cheese out of Paris. And there was a cheese, you might want, when I get the link, I'll send it to you. Mm-hmm. Cheesemaker was sharing these 60-day raw, looked like brie, camembert.
Yeah.
And it was sheep and goat and cow and blend, and there was no really specific. He just said it's what his farmers were making with the extra milk.
Yeah, no, and it's fun. Like a lot of times I take our Prufrock and the extra curds from that because we use multi-mold, so you don't always just want to dirty up 40 hoops for 2 cheeses or 10 cheeses. So we make our cheese mixtape, and I wash it in a local beer. And I kind of do whatever. It's not certified organic, so I can just kind of be really kind of loose with it and do whatever I want. All of our other cheeses are certified organic. It's just if I want to use island grown things on it, not everything here is grown organically. And if I want to work with my local brewery, they don't make organic beer. So,
but at least you have a local brewery that you can use their beers. You can have organic cheese curd washed in a beer made locally.
Yeah, no, it's really tasty. My close friend, his son actually is he's like my chief cheese washer. He's an 18-year-old. He's been working for me since he was 14, and his dad's the brewer, and he's great, absolute great.
What a great relation, the son, the dad, your friend.
Yeah, it's a really tight-knit community here on the island. There's only, it's only 14,000 of us here, so kind of everyone at least knows someone who knows someone. There's not many degrees of separation.
Now you behave on that small island there. Everybody knows what you do.
Exactly.
Well, I have to say, welcome those 14-year-olds, because both employees that I had 14 and 28 years ago started at 14, and both lasted 14 years.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm scared. He's about to go off to college. I don't want to lose him.
I just started my new third one, and so my third 14-year-old, and I vote for them, yes. And I hope, please, that this third one stays 14 years.
Yeah, I know. It's great because they don't come with any bad habits of their own, and they're so willing to learn, and yeah, it's awesome.
So is there anything else you'd like to share about your farm and what you've shared where you're going to be building out your tasting room, you're going to be expanding your cheese making?
Yeah, I mean, there's plans. I mean, hopefully in the next 2 years, I'm going to be expanding my aging facility, which is going to be a big thing. And then, we're growing our farm stand. We got our vegetable operations growing, our bakery's growing. We're going to have lots of different pastries available next year. Everything just keeps getting bigger and better. And the thing is we've never really had, when the business started, we're not doing what we originally planned, but we're doing what the community needs us to do. And
evolved with your community, and that's what, especially during COVID, we evolved to what the community is looking for, and it's to your business.
Oh no, I mean, for instance, one of our grocery stores on the island shut down because they had a lot of employees get sick, and we've gotten a lot of their business because no one has anywhere else to go. We're sold out of milk right now because we had all these people who didn't have a grocery store to get milk at. So we're there, and we're doing our best, and we're a small operation. So the hardest thing for us is just keep things available, because essentially as soon as we produce something, it sells out.
Well, you're gonna have to get more creative. So you have the bakery, you have the garden, you got the cheese, you got the milk. What's next?
I don't know. Hopefully not too much more. Just more of everything, just keep on producing. We have a new cheese coming online. I'm getting a new cheese press, hopefully in the next 2 weeks, so we can really start producing our cheddar cheese.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be exciting. I always love getting new equipment. It's fun stuff to figure out.
Last week, and you thought I was like a kid in the candy store with a new cheese case.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's always fun getting new equipment and doing all that. And I'm getting a lot of like my quality control. I'm trying to really get more on top of doing moisture and salt analysis and tracking that, because I took over this place like 4 years ago, and we've just been growing. And I've just been trying to get us profitable, and we are there now. So now that we're being successful, I just want to keep on refining and keep on improving, because I just want
to manager. If you want to continuously evolve and improve, that's really impressive. So thank you for doing that. The owners of their dairy and farm are lucky, because to continue to evolve and grow and look for new opportunities is how you evolve with your community.
Yeah.
And you got that local community, and you got your national community. So
yeah. No, I mean, I miss my cheese community. I miss going to ACS this year. I always love learning so much, and I'm a bit of a homebody, so leaving the island is always a big thing for me. But I do miss like ACS and all this stuff, because I just love learning and improving, and it's such an open community we're in.
Right, it's so true. Hey Joe, I have a question from you from one of your customers.
Sure.
How do you choose your cheese names?
So the original cheeses, most of them are all poems. Prufrock, Eidolon, and Bluebird were originally chosen by the owners. We just named our cheddar cheese Banneker, and that was part of a naming contest. And we might have another naming contest, but we're trying to keep it on theme with poems. So far, we only have one cheese that's not a poem name, which is Bon Anniversaire, but that was for our 10-year anniversary, is why we named it that. If anyone has a poem they love and think would be a good cheese name, shoot us an email. We're always looking for new names, and we have a whole list going. So
that's great. And I'll be sure when we upload on our website and on our YouTube station, the YouTube cheese chat, we'll put your email and your website and the list of your cheeses. So if anybody has a name, they can send it directly to you.
Yeah.
And mainly, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to share your knowledge and expertise and your cheeses. And remember, this was the only item I brought home from the food show. So, and it lives in our cheese room over on the next warehouse over.
Well, looks like you're taking good care of it.
It lives with cheese. So, Joe, thank you again, and thank the owners for allowing you to continue to create and evolve. And I'm glad you live in such a great community that's embraced your business and the growth. So continue on.
Thank you. And thanks for giving us the opportunity to talk to everyone. It's a great opportunity to talk to my everyone who loves to eat my cheese.
Great, and I'll be sure to send you the list of who registered for the class so you can return emails to them. So thank you all for tuning in. Joe, thank you from the Gray Barn for being part of our cheese chat, creating cheese through community. And I hope you have a great day, Joe.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.